Start with the monthly. So surprisingly, the monthly actually provided me with a lot of information on this day in specific. Because if we come down here to our daily, we take a look at what happened yesterday. We see this huge black candle, right? What was that? What does that look like on our monthly? That is all of this bearish movement from 77.67 to 72.57, or at this point it was around 72.57. So the reason that's important today is because we had this monthly Pediarite, but at the stage we were at yesterday, it's like, oh well, price doesn't give a fuck about that. Like, you see how far we've come past it. I mean, yes, technically we have this monthly order block here, but that's just very, very deep respect if it does want to do that. And sure enough, price ended up dumping back down. So that seems like what's going to happen is this monthly fair value gap is going to get respected now. It's way too early for me to have said, oh, price is going to go all the way down to previous month's low. Um, all I was able to get from this monthly was we were in very strong bearish conditions. So we come on to a weekly. All we see on our weekly time frame is this weekly buy side liquidity and this weekly buy side liquidity were already ran, as well as our previous week's high. So there's not a single piece of weekly buy side liquidity that is available. Now we go on to our daily. And what do we notice about yesterday? Well, if you remember, and make note of this, the way that our weekly AMD protocol works is if Tuesday takes out Monday's high and Monday's low, or if it fails to take either side, so if it doesn't take Monday's high or Monday's low, then we treat Tuesday like Q1 and we treat Wednesday like Q2. So what do we do in Q1? We accumulate. What do we do in Q2? We manipulate. So that Tuesday is now accumulation, meaning we're now expecting on this Wednesday for previous day's high, previous day's low to get taken out. So before we even open up our chart, say we, saw Tuesday take Monday's high, Monday's low on Tuesday, got off the chart. Before we get back on the chart today, we remembered, oh yeah, we took previous day's high and previous day's low yesterday. So we already know we should be heading for previous day's high or previous day's low today before we even open the chart, before we have any idea how close price opened on this day towards either side. We already know we're aiming for one of those. So then we open up our chart. We see this, which is in line with that idea. So now all we have to do is, we opened up here. So all we have to do is go down to our 4 or our 1 hour and find a PD rate. We don't have one on the 4 hour, so let's go down to the 1 hour. And so this fair value gap is a little too big and too close to our target for me to have been able to catch a turtle soup out of it, excuse me. So I knew I just had to go ahead and catch a ST, or I wasn't going to have any opportunity to get in this move. You see this 1 hour fair value gap right there? Cool. We end up getting retracement, even cooler. And so at this point, we're simply waiting to see what forms first and what retraces first, the 5-minute ST or the 15-minute ST. Most likely, or most of the time, you're only going to get one. See, we don't even have a 15-minute in, so we don't even got to worry about it. We're just down here on the 5. And also, I don't trade the lowest time frame ST. I don't trade the 1-minute ST. So I'll only trade the lowest 2 time frames ST, because that lowest time frame ST is a completely different model. It's tradable. It hits. It's not high enough probability for me, so I don't like it that much. So all we're looking for here is a 5-minute fair value gap in, which we have at 8:05. This 5-minute fair value gap here. That third candle mitigates the fair value gap, so that's our in. And then we now have our out, and it is literally 1 pip wide. However, it doesn't matter. This is a mechanical model. Everything I do is mechanical. As far as my models go, the turtle soup and the ST, those are the only ones that I use. So And we also know we can trust this, that it actually is a 1 pip wide for value gap. And it's not just some discrepancy on our chart because we're on the futures chart. We know this is the most accurate data available to anybody. And because I was planning on this is the original setup how it went, and everybody should have targeted previous day's low today because this wasn't anything. This wasn't a 1 hour swing point by the time that 1 hour PDRA was mitigated, so that we didn't need to go. We didn't need to stop here at all. Also, it was what we discussed at the beginning. We're treating today like Q2 because of what happened yesterday. So that's another reason we already know price should follow through all the way to one side of yesterday. So this was the take profit right here, right? But I was in a situation where a 1/4%, the lowest risk I put on a trade, would have been like way more. The take profit would have been way more than I needed to get on the second phase of the challenge I was on. I only needed 1% today. 75 times 2.7. 75 times 2.7. It's 202. Yeah, so I actually did put my take profit around there, and I ended up manually closing literally right around here, right as my account balance was over the threshold. I manually closed, but obviously everybody should have held to down here. That was the real point to target. So let's go ahead and see how this order played out. So 10 minutes in, we go ahead and get our mitigation, we go ahead and get our entry. And price disrespects that for value gap. It's weird, right? But I didn't close because I've been in this situation many times before, and I know that disrespect of a fair value gap does not necessarily mean that we are now barreling towards stop loss. Price can still hold. We just have to have some reason why. I didn't even see this at the time because I don't pay attention to inverse fair value gaps, but I know some people do. Um, Price held. Price ended up respecting this inverse fair value gap. Let's go ahead and go further. And that's one of the reasons I like oil as well, because of the speed. You say is the zero fucking around, like instant retracement, instant, expansion. Very, very beautiful move.